So I remember I was going on a bus from my dormitory to college, and there is a woman that was right behind me, and she was talking loud, and maybe she was even, saying it, loud for me. I don't know. Maybe not. But she said that she would never ask a man out. She would never initiate the conversation or whatever. She would never ask the man out because she's afraid of rejection. She's afraid of rejection. Okay, yeah, I mean, it sucks, right? It sucks. Chris Rock says to never ever make the first move. Adam Sandler had a joke where someone said, "Hey, go ask her out. You think you like her? You think she's pretty? Go ask her out." The worst she could say is no. Hey, you want to go out? No. You're ugly. I hate you. Get away from me. It's like that was no was supposed to be the worst thing that you could say. And so you ever had, Chris Rock says to never make the first move. It's 2022. It's 2022. I had another woman in college that had asked me out, and after she asked me out, she said that was tough. That was really tough. Yeah, you think? You think so? To put yourself out there? To put yourself out there, whether or not what? Yes or no? Yes or no? Hey, I'm kind of interested in you. I kind of like you. I think here I'm gonna offer myself as a candidate. Now, if I wasn't interested, I would just gently put the person down. But imagine saying to a person who expressed interest in romance, with you, oh my, no, no, you nasty. Oh my God, gross. Ew, ew. You think you can be with me? Get the hell away from me. And don't you ever think about talking to me ever again.
The other members would be happy. You haven't reached out to them. In fact, you never asked me to get in touch with them.
You issued a statement. A statement is not evidence. Excuse me. Excuse me. A statement is not evidence.
With them.
Is that good journalistic? Hey! Excuse me! I'm talking here!
Why would I ask to speak with other board members when there's already multiple board members on the record saying, I'll just read their comments. Colin, if we could go to the first tweet, Regina Clark, one of the board members that was removed. She says that statement was not true. In our special investigative committee meetings, all three original members stated that we believed the accuser. When the three of us then discussed it with the rest of the partial board, the full board is 10. The partial board was minus you and your father, because obviously you couldn't be in meetings when an instigation into you was discussed. The partial board agreed that actions needed to be taken based on our findings of sexual harassment over Title VII. Later, a fourth person was added to the investigative committee over concerns about the integrity of two members of the committee and their communication with Nick Brana. Then you have Thomas Royko, another board member. To be clear, he was not part of the committee investigating you, but he was part of meetings in which the investigation was discussed. He says,
also one of the ones
I'm not done reading the quote.
Along with Todd Dellen.
Yeah, I'm not done reading the quote.
I was talking, okay? Don't you dare interrupt me, Nick Brana. Don't you dare interrupt me.
Quote, that's not true. Flat out lie as far as I was aware. Royko said the statements that he is making is riddled with lies. So
is there a question in here? My God, what a terrible goddamn Jordan Chariton. You're too close to this one. You're too emotional. If you're a non-biased third party, you just say, "Hey, what do you say? What do you say?" And then you just kind of let the two parties. I feel like sometimes people have to be terrible to other people. I mean, they have, I think people are oppressive. So it's either you're going to obey me and do as I tell you, so they have to disconnect the person from themselves in order to enslave them. And so there's also ulterior motives and shit. But if you can disconnect the person from themselves, treat them like shit, then you can easily manipulate them and then you can enslave them and handle them. But what if they just, what if there's somebody that just won't be handled? And they want a friend, not a goddamn manipulator. They want a buddy with, good personality that shares information, tells good jokes and shit. Not just trying to fuck you over, but actually trying to educate your mind and trying to encourage you and validate you and inspire you. Nick Brana's trying to inspire us Nick Brana's trying to inspire us by his love of the people. Nick Brana wants to change the world. Nick Brana wants to change the world, and he loves the working class. He wants a civil society. He wants a democracy that functions for the working class people. That's why people are going after Nick Brana. That's why they're going after Nick Brana. Huey Long, I want to say Sean Penn was playing Huey Long, and there was a quote in that movie where it says, "They're coming after me because they're coming after you." That's exactly why they're going after Nick Brana. They're going after Nick Brana because they're going after you. Nick Brana wants to represent the working class. He wants to help the working class get to the promised land. And what kind of person would want to be against something like that?
Lying or you're lying? Because you're saying that the investigative committee already reached a conclusion that there was no merit in the woman's accusation and that it was politically motivated. But you have a member of the special investigative committee saying that's not true, that they did have findings. And we also have a document, Nick, and let's go, Colin, if we could go further down, to the February 19th emergency meeting petition, if you'll allow me to read this. This was sent on February 19th, which was Saturday, so 6 or 7 days ago. It's signed by 5 board members. The title is Emergency Meeting of the Partial Board of Directors National Coordinator Circle. And they, in this, pursuant to Section 9 of the Interim Operating Procedure of the People's Party, also known as Movement for a People's Party, a Michigan nonprofit corporation, the undersigned members of the Board of Directors of People's Party, also known as the National Coordinator.
Excuse me. So I don't know what the hell Jordan Chariton's going after, Nick Brana for, because what? They don't want to see him become president. They see him as an equal instead of wanting one of their own to ascend. They'd rather a plutocrat or an oligarch. Wait, he came from nothing like me? So I could be as big as him? So they're not afraid of Nick Brana's darkness. They're afraid of his light. They're afraid of his light. So they're not trying to campaign to get him elected. They're campaigning against him. Just be neutral at the very least. Motherfucker, if you can't be good and help people, why, hurt them? So they're campaigning against him to take him down, to shut him up. Jordan Chariton, do you want the working class in the United States of America to absolutely have no fucking chance? Jesus Christ, what do we need that bullshit for? We have seen this playbook over and over again. Stan Lee, Morgan Freeman, Julian Assange. What happened with that whole thing, that Julian Assange thing? Bernie Sanders, remember Elizabeth Warren said that Bernie Sanders said that even women weren't good enough to become president. That's what he said. He said women weren't good enough to become president. Those were his exact words. Yeah, fuck you, you lying piece of shit. And they're not even saying sexual harassment with Nick Brana. Some people are even say that they're trying to allege rape. Are you kidding me? Motherfucker, are you kidding me? Nick Brana's not a goddamn, Jack the Ripper. Nick Brana's not Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper is a rapist serial killer. You think that's who Nick Brana is? One of the members later told me every time I spoke with the accuser, I got a different story. So the accuser keeps changing the story. I don't even know what the damn accusations or the details are, but I do know that Nick Brana and the accuser used to be romantically involved. Another member of the investigative committee put together a list of dozens of inconsistencies between her own accounts. I'd like to know what the hell's going on. I'd like to know the details of this case so I can make my own determination, you know? Get on Judge Judy or Judge Joe Brown. Let's see all this get adjudicated in front of us. Because if he is Jack the Ripper, well then shit. You know, that's not good representation at all, right? That person not only shouldn't be representing the working class, should be in jail. But this isn't Jack the Ripper level shit. So to me, it seems like it's more total fucking bullshit, like the whole Julian Assange thing. It's a major accusation. Turns out to be a goddamn lie. Well, that should be punished severely just as well. Jesus Christ, your lie? We're trying to protect you, woman, so why'd you fucking lie? Just to ruin that man because you wanted that man to love you? He didn't hit on you enough? He didn't flirt with you enough? That's why you're trying to ruin that man? That's not right. That's not right. So first of all, let's see the charges, officer. Let's see the charges. And let's make certain there's charges to begin with. And then adjudicate the rest of this in front of us all.
Partial board minus Nick and Rod. Chair Michelle Ramirez to convene an emergency meeting of the.
All right, goodness gracious. I mean, I think it gets it's not Nick Brana's darkness which scares Jordan Chariton. It's Nick Brana's light. It's his greatness. Nick Brana's policies are on point, and he's a nice guy. Nick Brana's a fucking star. He's already a fucking star. He looks like us. He's the same age as us. He represents the future. But instead of like AOC and just loving, you know, her awesomeness and her potential, instead they want to hate Nick Brana. Hick Piranha. They want to hate the Hick Piranha. They want to hate Nick Brana. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he's a good guy. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he's a good guy. And maybe, hell, maybe even a great guy. Only time can tell that. So just leave Nick Brana alone. Just leave Nick alone.